Alright guys, welcome to episode 10, the pretty much, I'll call it 1/3 mark, even though, we had 32 episodes, but it's basically about the 1/3 mark. Like, the next episode will already be a third of the way done with the series, and we round out the top 10 by talking about the Chicago Bears. So let's talk about this team. On paper, they look pretty decent. They definitely need offensive line help. This line is just not good enough, and as well as defensive line. The edge group just isn't great. Linebackers, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edwards, Jack Sanborn. I like the three of them. Defensive backs, they had some of the best in the league this season. Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners. You know, Kevin Byard is a decent safety as well. He's getting older in there. Tyreek Stevenson. Overall, this team looks pretty decent, but it definitely needs some work. If you guys like this type of video, I hope you guys subscribe, and I will do even more of these for the entire rest of the league. But overall, let's get started. So the one thing the Chicago Bears team does not need is wide receiver. So we're not going to be doing any of that unless we decide to cut DJ Moore, which we're not going to. Overall, do I want to cut any of these people? Cole Kmet, no. Tremaine Edmonds, no. DeAndre Swift wouldn't be terrible, but no. Kevin Byard, he's getting older. We're probably going to draft a safety, but we're not going to cut him. TJ Edwards, Gerald Everett, DeMarcus Walker. Overall, I don't think there's anyone I really want to cut too much. Braxton Jones we could cut. Same with Brisker, but I don't know. 1.1 Dominique Robinson, he's not doing much though, right? Yeah. He's a fourth string right defensive end. We're going to cut him. Elijah Hicks, I think we're also going to cut. Like, the guys that are giving us over $1 million in cap, and that are like, Elijah Hicks is third on the safety depth chart. We don't really want him. Tyson Bagent, we can keep. But overall, I'll also cut Ian Wheeler just because, we don't need another running back, and we're probably going to draft one too. But overall, we're going to cut these three guys, give us a little bit more cap space. And who else do we want to bring back? Anybody else? We have Dominique Robinson again, who I just cut. Elijah Hicks, who I just cut. Jack Sanborn, might want to bring him back. Jalen Jones, not Jalen Johnson, so we're good. Keenan Allen, we need to bring back. Who else? Ricky Stromberg, Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins was our starting left guard. I think we're going to let him walk because I might want to get another guard, a better guard, I should say. Our backup free safety, Tavarius Moore. I want to see what he was making. Tavarius Moore was making a 1 year 1.1125. I think we're going to do the same thing. No? You don't want it? Maybe. We do 40%. No, rejected. Did you have a good year this year? Tavarius Moore, how did you do? Yeah, you're asking for that, and you're not even that good. Yeah, no, we're not keeping you. Ricky Stromberg was our starting center, wasn't he? Or no, was he not? No, he's like our fourth string, so we don't care about him. Mercedes Lewis is our third string tight end. We already have Gerald Everett again. I think we might have to re-sign, right? Gerald Everett. Amir Speed. No. Okay. I'm honestly just going to let all these guys at least test free agency. And then we'll see. Because unlike in other games, I can re-sign anyone in free agency. I'm not going to get them taken ahead of me. So we're going to let them test the market. And let's see what these teams are going to want. Caleb and Tyson Bagent, I'm fine with that as our quarterback room. Swift, Roschon, we're going to draft another running back too. We're probably going to need at least one or two more receivers. Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett is fine at tight ends. We need definitely a guard and a center. Interior defensive line, edge, linebacker, corners, and safeties. So let's start with the receiver first. I think I'm definitely going to want to bring Keenan Allen back. What was he on last year? He was on a 4-year, 20 million a season. He was in a contract year. Is he gonna want more than 20 million? I feel like if I can make him pay maybe like, let's start negotiations at 15.5 for 2 years, 35%. He accepts that. Okay, I think that's fair. You know, he's getting older, but we want to re-sign him anyway. Now we need to get some guards. We had Tevin Jenkins on our team last year. We're probably going to now want to bring him back. So let's do that. He was on a $2 million deal. He was just getting out of a rookie. Let's see if we can get him on like a 3-1 mil. Probably too little, but he accepts that. Good. And then we're probably going to draft another guard in the draft, so we're not going to go for him, but we do need a center. And I see Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly is an older guy, but we could probably sign him on a 1 year. 12.5 mil. He was on, yeah, could we get him for like 2 years, 12 mil a year with 30% guaranteed? He accepts that. Good. Now we have our new center, Ryan Kelly. We have 35 million cap space remaining. Let's try and sign a depth guy. Let's try and sign Scott Quessenberry. I don't really know. Yeah, he is not going to be here. So overall, he's probably going to make like what? Like, let's try 980,000 for a 1 year, and we'll guarantee like 35% rejected. Okay. Let's try 1-1 for a year with 35% guaranteed. Rejected. Okay. We'll probably draft one then. Is there any big, really good tackles? Isn't that the same guy I tried to get? Scott and David Quessenberry. Okay. Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, and Kieran Amigide. Honestly, if I'm the Chicago Bears here, I think I'm just going for the best one in Cam Robinson, because they need a tackle. They really do. 18 mil. He was on 18 mil 3-year deal. Could we get him on like a 2-year like 17? 2-year 17, and we guarantee like 35%. That works for me. Now we got Cam Robinson on a big left tackle deal for another 2 years. And then overall, I mean, we have our 3 receivers. We might draft 1, 2. An edge. Is there any really good edges around here? Von Miller maybe on a 1 year. DeMarcus Lawrence on a 1 year. Lorenzo Carter, Brandon Graham. He's probably going to retire, though, after he won the Super Bowl. Shaq Barrett. No, we're not going to go. I think we're going to try and get DeMarcus Lawrence on a 1 year. Just a guy who we can, off the edge, decent. Let's find him. He was on a 3-year, 13 million. So if we can get him on like 8.5 mil for 1 year, but like guarantee a butt ton, no. How about let's just try get a 9.5, 1 year, 40%? No. He's probably gonna want even more. How about Von Miller? Can we get Von Miller on like a really cheap deal? He was on a 20 mil a year deal. Yeah, he is being paid a lot. So can we get him on like a 5.75 1 year deal, but we just like guarantee a shit ton? No. Are you really gonna ask for so much? 7. This is the highest I'll go on Von Miller, just because his off-field antics might be a bit of an issue. No. Let's just keep trying to get DeMarcus Lawrence. Come on. 10 mil, 1 year, 50% guaranteed. He accepts. Perfect. So now we have Sweat and Lawrence, who can be our defensive ends for this year, because we're not going to I don't think we're going to try and go for defensive end in the draft this year too much, and we're going to leave this cap space for the next year. A lot better than what we did in last episode. So let's recap. Caleb Williams obviously still going to be in it. We keep the receiver core of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. Tyler Scott is depth. Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett at tight end. Signed Cam Robinson to be a star left tackle. Tevin Jenkins. Ryan Kelly, to be our other offensive lineman. DeMarcus Lawrence. And then we kind of left the secondary and the linebacker room alone because they're doing pretty well. Overall, I think free agency went pretty decently. We had $60 million. We spent pretty much most of it. And I think it's time to get into the draft. All right, now it's time to get into the draft. So let's start by seeing who are the picks in front of us. We have the Panthers second this year. So we have 39 and 41. So let's see who we have here. Will Campbell, Ashton Genty, Will Johnson, Nick Scorton, Siobhan Revelle, Tyler Warren, Kelvin Banks, Luther Burden. Overall, I am not too excited about any of these guys. We drafted a tackle 2 years ago. Do I want another Will Campbell-esque tackle, especially when this offensive line class is pretty deep? Like Cameron Williams, Josh Simmons, Armand Membu, Jonas Savaina. Like these guys, I'm cool taking them in these positions. So the question is, do I want to trade down? I see the Bills 36, 56, and 62 to trade up to 10 and the third next year. You have 18, 50, and a Seattle third. I am tempted to take this Bills offer. Trade down to 30 is a big thing. However, getting 2 second to third round picks, like we would be getting, 56 and 62. So we'd be getting 2 second round picks on top of our own 2 second round picks. So this is going to be very drastic, and I don't normally do drastic stuff. And it's kind of, was it realistic? Who would the Bills be trading up for here? They would probably be trading up for like Scorton as like an edge rusher. But if I am the GM of this team, I am taking this deal, and that's what the series is about, is if I'm the GM, what deals am I taking? Let's see if I can add like a fifth next year in it as well, and it's been accepted. So we also got the fifth next year. Once again, I don't think that this would happen in real life, and it isn't too realistic that the Bills would have traded up. Who did they trade up for? They traded again? Really? For pick 21, 52, and a second? A bit weird, but Will Johnson, I guess. It was an interesting trade. But, yeah. It was, I guess, technically a 3-team trade. And so the Bills traded again? What are the Bills doing? This is... Wait. Oh, hold on. Okay. I know this is really the point of the rebuild. But let's just pause for a second with the Bills. So we traded down with the Bills to get pick 10. They then traded with the Steelers to receive pick 21, who then they traded to the Rams for pick 26, who then they traded to the Chiefs for pick 31. So basically, the Bills moved up and then back down, and in the process they got rid of 56-62, their fifth and third from next year, but they gained 52 and a second from next year. They also gained 90, and they gained 31 and 66. That's something. And yeah, let's not even go crazy about that. So let's start with all the tackles are gone except for Savaina. I feel like it's a little too early for him. I see maybe a guard like Wyatt Milliam over here. It's a little bit early to take him too. Best player available, Loveland. I don't like Loveland. I think he's overrated, super overrated. We could use some help at defensive tackle. Safeties and corners are kind of fine. Linebacker, I also think is fine. Edge, not really too crazy about. Maybe we could go Amari and Hampton. Honestly, Amari and Hampton in the end of the first round to the Bears. I mean, DeAndre Swift wasn't great last year. I think it was a bit overrated. So, you know what? In the first round, we have so many second-round picks. I'm cool with taking Amari and Hampton right here in the first round. You know, he definitely could be taken by, you know, one of these teams. And I'm glad they finally picked a player here, the Bills. But any of these guys could probably take a running back, so I'm cool trading back. Next up, tight ends I'm good on, don't really care. I think it might be Walter Nolan, the D tackle, or Jihad Campbell, the linebacker, or a guard. I think we're going to go with the guard, Wyatt Milliam, because the tackles I'm not too... Like, Darnell Wright's had an okay first couple of seasons. Braxton Jones has been not great, but this interior is really where this line stinks, and I think Milliam should try and help them. And now we're here in our second pick. Denver, don't want to trade back anymore. I'm not going to trade back anymore, considering how many picks we do have. So, Jihad Campbell went. It kind of sucks because I did want him, but that's okay because I think we're going to go Walter Nolan anyway. D-tackle room, Billings and Dexter Sr., it's not a great room. They could use help on the run defense on the line. Walter Nolan is that guy. He has the run stopping ability and the pass rushing ability. And out of Ole Miss, I think we're going to go Walter Nolan here at 41. So we got a running back, we got a guard, we got a D-tackle. The next thing that I'm going to want in this second round, Harold Fannin Jr. is still here. Not quarterback, maybe a receiver. I think we're going to go, once again, offensive line. And I think we're going to go the tackle out of Purdue, Marcus Simbo, you know, to hopefully replace Braxton Jones. You know, I know Purdue wasn't that good this year, but I don't mind having Marcus Simbo here. He's pretty decent, and he'll be a good rookie pairing with Wyatt Milliam, and hopefully they could use that to protect Caleb Williams. The next guy I see here is, I think, an easy pick, Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. This team needs edge depth and edge help. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be a Band-Aid on a systemic wound. You know, the 1 year, $10 million deal. He's going to be gone or maybe even retired, and Jack Sawyer is hopefully going to be taking his place. Montez Sweat is not good enough to be on the line alone. So I think that having Jack Sawyer here could also very much help them. Now we have 5 more picks in this draft. Other things we need. We need a depth receiver. And I think that guy is going to be a guy I don't draft much. Jalen Royals out of Utah State. You know, he had a great year last year. He doesn't really have too much of the size, but, you know, he could probably slot in as that 4th receiver behind DJ, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. And he could probably provide a little bit of value. Or if one of them gets hurt, I know Keenan Allen always struggles with injury. The last 2 seasons to be relatively healthy, but now he's getting older. Just signed a new deal. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hurt. Rome Odunze as well. I mean, overall, these guys are just all okay. And I feel like if Jalen Royals could be a really good receiver, they take him right here. Next up, we're going to go for some more defensive help, and we're going to go most likely in the secondary. We don't have a pick for a very long time. Now we're back up. We're not going to trade back anymore. We have Jalen Johnson. We have Tyreek Stevenson. And we're going to grab Jason Marshall Jr. to be a depth corner for this team. It's a bit of a reach, you know, being at 192, but I think it's worth it just because of how much corner depth we do need. Jalen Jones, we lost to free agency, I believe, this year. Did we keep Kyler Gordon? I don't remember. Yeah, we did. But overall, this guy can be a nice, you know, he could play outside or he could play inside. You don't know. But I think he could be a nice, decent replacement. So we got running back we got a running back, got wide receiver depth, tight end depth could be useful, but I think we're going to take that in the 7th round. Offensive line depth, I think we're going to go with Gus Hartwig and pair him up with the Purdue tackle Marcus Mabeau. You know, put together the entire Purdue offensive line at in Chicago. You know, they need center depth. We were only able to sign the one center in Ryan Kelly, but we weren't able to sign anybody else on that line. So I think it's a good idea to get somebody, and that is the Purdue offensive lineman. You know, make them play together again. It'll be great. Next up, Donovan Edwards went early compared to where we had him last year in the Saints draft. We picked him at 254. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to pick up a tight end. So, yeah, there are probably going to be at least a couple guys that go here. I see Utah, Georgia, Texas Tech. I'm going to go with Conyers. I like his height and weight. You know, he can block at 263, but he could also run at 6'3" to get some good passes up there. And I think Jalen Conyers, you know, can be a good tight end depth behind Everett and Kmet. Probably won't get too much playing time this first year, but, you know, you never know. He could be really good. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a safety. And we want some safety depth because Kevin Byard, once again, is getting older. I'm not a huge fan of the safeties in the beginning of this class. We could have taken Malachi Starks at 10, I think. No, he went 8. Yeah, but he most likely he doesn't go 8, so Malachi Starks would go at 10 most likely for the Bears if we needed it, but I mean, I don't think so. Not this year because we still have Kevin Byard for one more year. So we're going to go with the Vanderbilt safety, Dericky Wright. You know, once again, 6th-year senior. He's a bit older, but he had a good year in Vanderbilt's secondary. Of course, they beat Alabama this year, and I think that he could be a decent prospect. Hopefully, he can, you know, help this Bears a little bit. So the Bears are a really, really decent team now. And if Caleb Williams can take a step forward this year, I think that it can definitely be decent. You know, we now got a new stud running back in Hampton. We boosted up this offensive line, D-tackle, edge room, got receiver depth, some other corner depth, tight ends. You know, overall, you know, with Caleb Williams, Omarion Hampton, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and Jalen Royals, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, and then you have Marcus Mabeau, Wyatt Milliam, Tevin Jenkins, Ryan Kelly, and Darnell Wright, as well as Montez Sweat, Walter Nolan, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Jack Sawyer, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jalen Johnson, Jack Sanborn, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, as well as Jason Marshall Jr. I think this team has a lot of talent on it. In terms of where I'd put them, though, the Chicago Bears are a team, and I think Caleb Williams is the type of player that is just not going to be able to get the job done. Caleb Williams, I feel like, has a lot more flaws than people think he does. And overall, I'm putting them in the same tier as the Giants next year in barely missed. Once again, they have some superstar talent. That's what separates them really from these 6 teams, is that they really don't have the superstar talent to get in the hunt for the playoffs or the quarterback. Like, if you have a stud quarterback or superstars around a decent quarterback, that's what's going to get you in these tiers. But these guys are either going to have rookie quarterbacks or not much around them, or just a bad organization. And I think the Bears are the prime example of a bad organization, which is why I'm putting them in barely missed. They still could be good, though. I think they could. However, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe again. And yeah, let's see if we can make it to 15. And I'll see you guys in the next video.